In Toucheng, we have an abundance of guest houses, Airbnbs, hotels, places to stay. We also have an abundance of places to eat. We also have an abundance of temples. There are way too many temples for me to cover and understand and explain. So I've gone around and picked out a couple of temples and places, mostly downtown Toucheng, that I think that maybe you might like. This is the oldest and probably the most beloved temple amongst the locals in Toucheng because of its close ties to maritime affairs. The temple is dedicated to the goddess Matsu, who holds cultural significance as the goddess of the sea. She offers protection, blessings, and guidance to coastal communities. Interestingly enough, this temple apparently was adjacent to the port before. So either there's been serious land reclamations or the sea has receded because it's not that close to the sea anymore. People worship for Matsu's assistance in safe voyages and prosperity, reflecting the importance of maritime activities in the region. But honestly, when I talk to people, they also worship at this temple for safety and good health of their children, for example. It's a very beloved goddess. When you go inside of the temple, not only this one, but many temples, you'll see little golden placards on the wall. You can purchase one of these or rent one of these and you put your name or your family name on this. It's a huge blessing and honor to have your name inside the temple. It's kind of like a little piece of real estate inside the temple. This temple is absolutely exquisite, built in the 18th century. Pay close attention to all the woodwork. It's really quite famous for its woodwork and wood carvings inside. The goddess Matsu is really beloved, especially in Toucheng. One of the locals told me that 90% of people that live in Toucheng will pray at this temple. There are lots of festivals held in honor of the goddess Matsu. One of the most famous is the Matsu Pilgrimage, which is also known as the Matsu Sea Goddess Festival. It takes place in September and honors the goddess Matsu, revered by fishermen and sailors for protection at sea. During this pilgrimage, fishing boats embark on a journey along the coast, participating in a procession all along the coast. They start from just south of Toucheng and they come all the way past Toucheng north and then circle back again. Apparently it is quite spectacular. It's quite early in the morning, but it's hundreds and hundreds of boats beautifully decorated, carrying the image of Matsu, while worshippers offer prayers and safe voyage for bountiful catches. Inside the temple, at the back or the front, depending on where you stand, you'll see that big wooden placard on the wall. That is from the 18th century. It's got 4 Chinese characters on it. The door gods at this temple are also quite spectacular. Door gods, of course, are there to protect the temple. They always carry spears or swords and look quite fierce, but you don't have to be afraid of them. And they're painted in a very interesting way to create the illusion that the eyes of the god follow you as you move side to side past the door. The next temple I want to look at is the Gong Temple, another very famous temple dedicated to the god Gong, also known as the god of war and righteousness. Lots of specific festivals and events are associated with this temple. There's a huge open plain outside of this temple. People worship and gather here seeking divine assistance relating to blessings in various aspects of their life, reflecting the multi-faced role of the Guangsen Dijin as a deity associated with protection, courage, justice, prosperity, and health, which includes relationships. People pray here for support and blessings in cultivating loving, respectful, and fulfilling relationships with their loved ones, reflecting the deity's role as a guardian of harmony and righteousness in all aspects of life. Soldiers going to war, people facing conflict in their lives, entrepreneurs, people thinking about opening new businesses, people confronted with obstacles, whether it's personal or challenges in business, they all will come to this temple to pray for fairness and righteousness and a resolution to their problems or issues or conflicts, a righteous resolution to those disputes. The Fuda Temple, this is the South Gate Fuda Temple. There's more than one Fuda temple. It's dedicated to the Gong, which is the earth god or the land deity. It plays a vital role in spirituality, serving as a guardian and protector within local communities. This is very much based to a certain specific area, a small community. This temple, again, you see those little placards on the wall. Those are people buying those little real estate placards on the wall. The Gong is concerned with fertility, agricultural abundance, and the well-being of rural communities. This specific temple sort of marks the beginning of the old street, which is a little cobblestone street that runs parallel to the train station, and it goes all the way up for about 1 kilometer or 1.5 kilometers. Very, very beautiful, and this temple marks the beginning of that. Next to this temple, the Southgate Fuda Temple, is also the tortoise deity. This is definitely a landmark in Tocheng, a huge statue of the tortoise deity, stone statue. And you can go up to the tortoise deity and rub its head for good luck. People worship at the Fuda temple at least 4 times a month. Twice for business, if your business is located in that area, and twice for household, if your household is located in that area. When people worship at the temple, it's called bye-bye. Understanding bye-bye is a little bit complicated, so I'm asking a good friend, Mr. Tien, to try and explain just the basics. The first thing you should know is when you go into a temple, you always enter through the right door, and you step in over the ledge with your left foot first. Once you go into the temple, there will be a big offering table. If you have brought an offering that you would like to offer to the gods, you place your offering on the table first. Next, you get your incense sticks. You can get 3, 6, or 9 incense sticks, I think. Mr. Tien is going to do 3 incense sticks, and he's going to explain why you take 3. You can also get some paper money. The money you have to not purchase, but you give a donation. There's a donation box, and then you get a roll of paper money, and the money you burn as an offering to your ancestors. If you just want to do a prayer, you can take incense sticks, and you do not have to give a donation for that. There is a fire furnace or some kind of method of lighting it. You light your incense on that. I don't think you can just use a regular lighter. You probably just use the fire that's provided by the temple as part of the ceremony. When you walk out of the temple, remember you go out the other door and you step out with your left foot first. This temple is the Fuda temple, and it is dedicated to the Gong, the earth god, right? But when you pray or when you bye-bye, your first prayer has to be to the Heavenly Father. The Heavenly Father is sort of the king of the gods. So as a sign of respect, you have to pray to that god first, which is what he's doing outside in the biggest urn. And he's sticking that incense into that sand urn with his left hand. If you're using your left hand, that means that you are asking something from the god. Whereas if you're using your right hand to put this incense into the sand, you're giving a blessing or a thank you to the god. Now, the second stick is going to the god of the temple, or the god that the temple is dedicated to. In this case, it's the Gong. So in the middle of the table, you'll see there's 2 more containers. Mr. Tien is again going to put the incense into one of those, but this time he's using his right hand. So the second incense stick he's giving to the Gong as a thank you. And the third stick of incense, because in every temple there'll be a representation of more than one god, the third incense stick, again, just a thank you, and that is as respect and honor to all of the other gods that are inside this temple. Inside the temples, most temples, you will find these little crescent blocks, wood blocks called jiaobei or guabei. And how it works is, if you have a specific problem or question that you want to ask the god and you need a yes or no answer, you ask your question and then you throw these crescents on the floor, and depending how they fall, you will get your answer. In this case, one is up and one is down. That means yes. Whatever the question was, your answer is going to be yes. If they fall both round sides up, the answer to your question is no. And if they fall both flat sides up, this is a laughing answer, which means either the God didn't understand your question or your question is not relevant. Most people will ask a question and throw the same question and throw the jiao bei 3 times to make sure that they understand the answer correctly that the God is giving them. The last temple, and probably the biggest temple in Toucheng, is the Tunghang Temple, and it's dedicated to the city god, also known as the Tunghang Laoye. This temple is all about righteousness and fairness. The Tunghang is primarily associated with protection and governance of a specific urban area, such as a city or a town, so a big area, and it's all about righteousness. The Tunghang is sort of a divine magistrate or judge, and he oversees legal matters and he resolves disputes and ensures social order and harmony within a city. The Tunghang's role extends to upholding moral standards, and he will punish you if you do something wrong. Tunghang promotes righteousness amongst urban residents. People worship to Tunghang to foster a sense of community, cohesion, and solidarity with their neighbors and their community. Again, this temple is spectacularly decorated inside. The door gods are quite breathtaking. They are not only just painted on the doors, but they are actual wooden figurines that have been placed on the door, or perhaps they've been carved into the door. I think of all the door gods that I have seen in all the temples, these have to be the most spectacular. And the size, of course, also is quite breathtaking. While you're on this cultural voyage in downtown Toucheng, if you're starting to feel a little bit hungry and you are in this area, I would recommend the Hunan Chinese food restaurant. Really, really good value for money. Really, really good food. They do have an English version of their menu, the highlights of their menu, so it should be relatively easy to order. If you want to see what type of food they have a look at the video that I did on the Hunan Chinese food restaurant. They have lots of proteins to choose from, meats, pork, fish. They also have fried noodles. They also have lots of vegetarian dishes. So have a look at that video if you're interested in finding a nice place to eat after your temple excursion.